Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you tuned into the Cammie Grayson Show. And today is Artist Network, and I have a very, very special friend that I just met today. He goes by the name of Binky Womack. Welcome to the
Hey,
show!
how are you? Happy to
I'm
be here on
wonderful.
the show.
So, how about you? What's going on with you over there?
Man, same thing all the time, just working on music and
Okay, so
projects.
tell people who you are. The last name
Well,
sounds familiar to people, but tell them exactly who you are.
I'm the nephew of the Womack brothers. My dad was one of the Womack brothers, Bobby Womack, Cecil Womack. They were writers, and obviously everyone knows my Uncle Bob. Probably he was the most famous, but then Womack and Womack, which was had a great deal of success in America and outside of America. Some of you might be familiar with them. And Mary Wells was my auntie. So came up in the business.
Man, so you're so humble. Just came up, just no big deal. It's just
Well,
relative.
well, you know what? It's a different time. I remember because I came up and at first I started through every aspect, like working your way from the mailroom. And when I was a producer, and I remember when people start saying, coming over and they would see some of the records and be like, "Oh, Tupac, that's old school," or whatever. And I was like feeling like that there was, the generations had changed. So
Mhm.
not a lot of people know all the work because people don't follow, writers' credits and that sort of thing. They know the artist. And outside of so many years, that artist, I guess, becomes old school to kids coming up. So when they were calling like NWA and Tupac and like Usher old school. So I knew the Bobby Womack and like I knew people who didn't even know who Rick James was. So
Oh wow.
time served, yeah.
So since this is a new era, let's just go back all the way back. So let's tell people how you got into this industry. How old were you when you got started?
When I first got started, I was like 4 years old.
Four.
And yeah, that may be hard to believe, but it was like that's when I knew I couldn't read or anything like that, but I could pick up the Motown record and know which one was the Temptations or which one was just by the look and the wear on the record. I could put on. My mom could say, "Put on Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, this song," and I could go through the records. They could be all spread over the floor, and I could grab Shop Around or whatever and put that on. So at that early age, they started, my uncles were rehearsing and I would go to rehearsals. And being growing up in the industry, all your parents' friends were someone like Marvin Gaye's kids, or I grew up with George Clinton's kids, and all these different kids, Berry Gordy's kids. So it was the same thing amongst your friends. We were just wanting to get to where we could get to do what they were doing. So that's where it all started.
Oh, that's amazing though. I mean, so did your mom sing as well?
No, my mom didn't really sing. She did some writing, but she was never in the industry. She just raised us kids up, and
Wow.
that's
So
did my
now,
stuff.
when did you decide that you were going to like be a performer? You're into this industry. You know records. You know the music. Your family is very talented. So when did you decide this was for you?
Well, I decided it was for me. Just when I was young and I was trying to get in, but my my peers, they were making sure you were good enough. They didn't want you to be in there knowing you're not ready. So I mean, there would be a time that you get a chance to play, like say you're at rehearsal watching or something, and then everyone puts their instruments down, take a break, and you want to play and show them I can play. I can play
I
now.
can do this. I can do
Yeah.
this.
So there was a lot of times it took a long time to get to the point because they would say, okay, they give you a test, sing this note, and no, you're not ready yet, and just keep practicing. It was just that over and over and over again till I think I always wanted to do it, but they didn't really catch on until I was like making noise outside of them, you know what I mean?
Circle. Yeah.
From them, and started getting pulled out, and by other people.
So when did you get your first? I want to say, when did they very first notice you?
They know to me. My uncle was opening for the Rolling Stones, and this is when I was just about to leave high school, and it was summertime, and I became the guitar player. That was when I knew I was good enough, when they actually let me come and actually start rehearsing and then actually started playing. But that only lasted a little while because they still treated me like just, hey, we need you to play guitar, just come down here and do it. And I was like, well, what's going on? Like, yeah, they didn't give anything like, how much you were getting paid or how long it was going to be. Just, we need you to get on this plane and be at this place by tomorrow. So that didn't last too long.
Okay.
Playing with them like that, yeah.
So then it kept going. So how did you get back to where we are now?
Well, then I started producing records. Like, rap was coming up. Had a lot of people here in the West Coast that were doing music, and I started. At this point, I was functional enough to produce a full record by myself. Like, and then I almost got assigned over at a couple of labels as a staff writer, and then just playing behind. Like I said, I had all these different friends. Kerry Gordy and George Clinton's son. We went to junior high school and high school together, and everyone was doing something. So you were able to get in. So I think the first thing I was working for like different production companies and doing remixes on records and stuff like that, and started producing records for like, LaFace and over at Interscope, just different labels. And then I had like Baby Bash, and a lot of people like that, Usher, Pac, TLC, just a whole bunch of records. I was just doing anything and everything, doing television music, anywhere a record could go or music could go. At that time, we were just really busy. It was that time I probably was involved in every record that was on the charts. Like I would have like a remix with a Silk, like Meeting in the Bedroom, and then I would have another record like Usher, You Remind Me remix, or a remix on TLC. Just different things were going all at one time. Stuff for,
so when did you feel like you got your big break? What was the biggest project that you felt like this has got me on top
now? I never really felt like, I guess you just keep on going because you never really feel like you've made it. I mean, I remember I went to play, and I'm serious because there's always one bigger, like when you think you're like, oh yeah, I'm there. And then someone like, I went to play guitar on some Babyface, and they were like, just show up. Don't worry about bringing a guitar or anything. Just come. We've got everything you need. So I walk in there, and when you first walk in, it's like guitars everywhere, just hanging on the wall like you're at a guitar store, Guitar Center. So they like, just pick one off the wall. So look, and I'm trying all these guitars out like I'm at a Guitar Center. Then they say, okay, the studio's down here. Come on. And we start walking, and all the way, the ceilings are like maybe 20 feet high. And from the top and every inch of the walkway, there's plaques with Babyface, with everyone in the world on both sides. So you have to walk down there, and you're looking on both sides, and it's like Babyface at the Super Bowl with this. It's overwhelming. Then I don't care if you have a lot of gold records, you don't have this many. So You're just walking down, and those sort of things are what you aspire for. So it just shows you another level of like, wow, man, I'm not even out of the lobby, when you do something like that. And those sort of things, when you meet those sort of people, I've known a lot of people like Russell Simmons or Norman Whitfield. These guys, just Teddy Riley, these guys just they're at a whole different plateau. It's just like if you're a singer and you're starting out and you get your first hit and you think I made it, and then you meet Michael Jackson in person and go to his house and hang out. It's that sort of humbling that makes you feel like there's always something else, or you always have something else to obtain. So I never really had that feeling like I had until I, probably if I hadn't known all these people that I've known growing up.
Yeah. So do you think Babyface was probably like one of the best as far as ranking that you enjoyed working with? Or
Well, Babyface, I worked with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis as well. So, and Norman Whitfield is a whole different, he wrote everything. I mean, from Papa Was a Rolling Stone to Car Wash and all these hits. So it's like all of these guys are great. I can't put one in front of the other. It's like if you have a record company and a publishing company and you have a chance to sit down and talk to Berry Gordy, you're gonna feel like you have so much more to do, or there's so much you can do. And it's all based in era, because things change. We don't play by the same rules now that they played by then. We don't sell records as much as they sold then. There's no CDs. It's a whole different thing. So it's like you have to keep learning and reinventing yourself and trying to fit in where you fit in. I remember the first time, like to the question you asked, the first time I thought I made $50,000 for one song, and this was just to record, right? But now you can't do that. It's just like there's guys selling songs, productions for $10. So
wow.
it takes away the value of someone who's been in it for a long time when you expect to walk in and get $50,000 out of a budget. You know what I mean? I don't even think that's why a lot of guys aren't active anymore, because no one wants to pay like they used to pay, because no one is making money in the way they used to make it.
Right. I know. I've noticed that they're selling a lot of their catalogs now. A lot of performers are selling their catalogs.
Yeah,
And
because
that's
your
even more.
catalogs, say for instance, you were getting a check for $40,000 every quarter, 3 or 4 months. With streaming, that same check is like $4,000.
Wow.
So a lot of people that, you have to do those things. And some of the big catalogs, they know that if they take, 300 million or something like that, it's going to take the record company. They're going to have to do everything, commercials and ads, and because you can make more money now. We were actually making more money at one time doing like Pizza Hut commercials and things like that than actually doing records. So times are different. That's why, and as you know, I get emails every day of what whole entire catalogs or songs are for sale. And they range anywhere from like, 2,000 to 20,000. I don't think I've seen anything more than that. You can buy someone's catalog.
Right. That's, I guess the times have really, really changed. My friend always telling me AI is going to take over. AI is going to be doing our songs. AI is going to be doing our music. And you're not going to even know it's AI because it's going to sound just like us.
Yeah,
And so how
because
do you feel about that?
well, it's just like everything else. You have to learn to adapt. And because the lawsuits are just starting to fly, it depends what becomes legal and not legal, because you could clone the voice. AI, you can take Marvin Gaye's voice and feed it into the computer, and then the computer learns the algorithm of the voice. So then I could sing a song in my own voice and record it as Marvin Gaye, and it'll actually sound, have all the fluctuations of Marvin Gaye's voice. You won't be able to tell that it's me or John Doe singing. It sounds like Marvin Gaye. So now this is the first time ever. So there's no laws against that.
Right.
So they have to figure out in court, is that legal to take Marvin Gaye's voice, clone it, and make your own Marvin Gaye's? Because if you look on YouTube now, you can find like people who have passed on, and they have just guys that have done cover songs, like Freddie Mercury is a big lead singer for Queen, and you can see him singing everything from a Frank Sinatra tune to a Motown song sounding exactly like him. So it's like either that's going to be real big, or they have to, I don't know who they go after, because if everyone starts doing it, like say I I there was, when I released some records that I recorded my Uncle Bob after he had passed away, everyone came after me to sue me, saying that they own the rights to his voice. And that was before AI got this developed. Now it's so developed. If I did a record and clone my own voice to be exactly like his, could they sue me? So those are the things. Right now, there's some things in court where they're trying to sue people, and that's going to be the establishment of what you can and cannot do, because you can clone anyone. You can go on the radio right now and take the top record, clone that voice, and make another record right behind it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and learn about your music. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Well, if you just tuned in, you haven't tuned in too late. You tuned in to the Cammie Grayson Show, and I am here with the brilliant Binky Womack.
Hey.
Hey, listen, yay. Like Tom Sleep, yay.
Hey. See?
Okay, so let's dive into your music. Tell us about some of the songs that you've done.
Well, I started, some of the songs I've done, I've done a lot of songs. I've done records with, and then I always say records because I've been doing it a lot, that sometimes I can't recall the specific titles or what specific album it was on or whatever. And then some things were remixes, So I've done records with Usher on some of his earlier records when he was with The Face. I did some records with TLC when they were there. I know I worked on like the I'm Pretty and the Scrubs remixes. I worked on like records with 112. Just everybody who were doing records, because you would get those records to redo them, to make them continue to sell, to do a remix or club version. Yeah, something different. So the label would send you, like Silk. Silk was out. Silk was hot. I did Meeting in My Bedroom. Just a whole bunch of records during that time era. I've done a Prince record. So just different things. And then I produced records with my uncles, and for a long time I was just playing guitar for different people. I played with Randy Jackson when he had his group, the Gypsies. Randy Jackson and the Gypsies. I played guitar with on records for like I said, Face, and Parliament, and just a lot of records that sometimes you don't even know where the records end up until you hear them out there. Like, oh yeah, I played on that.
Oh yeah,
it becomes familiar. Yeah, so I was just at that time. I played with Jodeci. We did records with KC and JoJo. Different soundtracks. I played with like certain different rock groups, like Korn. I've done records with the Rolling Stones and Shaka Khan. Just different things that were, because my uncles were producing. My uncles were producing, and I was producing as well. So just pretty much everyone. I played guitar with my aunt when I was like 15. Mary Wells. I would go and rehearse her band because she wasn't a musician, so we'd go over the songs before the shows.
Yeah, now Mary Wells. I remember my mom used to love her music, just love her music, and so that's amazing. That you've had the opportunity to have family members that that people adore their work. and then you had the opportunity to be a part of that. So it's amazing for me to be
Yeah,
able to meet you.
it was a different time. I mean, a lot of people were friendlier, and than they are now. You know, I remember being at like a family picnic. It was a picnic. Motown used to have this picnic, and they did like sack races and like, you know, water balloon fights or whatever. And it would be like all of the Commodores and their kids, Stevie Wonder. It would be people like this just hanging out having a barbecue. You know, so those things don't really happen like that now. Because when I was at the height of producing certain rappers, they would not be friends. A rapper could come in your house with this other rapper or your studio, and you'd record a song with them. And then the next time you saw that same rapper, he wasn't friends with the other rapper, and he was, and it would be a thing like, "Oh, are you still messing with that? So that guy?" It was like,
Yeah.
"Well, you introduced me to that guy. How am I supposed to know
You
you?"
introduced me to that guy. What are you talking about?
So it would be things like that that were, you know, that were different. You know, and that's what I say about things change, because when I would be at the studio with Shaka Khan or Bonnie Raitt or somebody like that, they didn't come to the studio with weapons like these rappers.
Right. It was just
Here we
fun and
go.
humble.
It was
Yeah.
fun, and it was work, and everybody had a good time as family. Like Norman Whitfield would just buy, there'd be pineapples and strawberries and grapes and anything you could want, cheese and crackers. And then, and fast forward 10 years later, you know, guys are like, well, let me leave my gun on the table while I go in the booth and shot this first. There'd be like three guns right here, you know, and just, it was just a
I was
different,
about to say, do you have any kind of rules about that in your studio?
no, because things are, you have to adapt to whoever the clientele is, you know. There
Yeah.
was a time where Snoop and them would have like pit bulls, wild pit bulls running around the studio. You know what I mean? Till they bit his uncle or something. You know, it was things like that. So you just can't
Okay.
say like,
So,
"Hey, don't bring your dog," or "Don't bring," you know.
yeah. So you lose the business.
Yeah, it was just the way things were. You know,
Wow. Now tell me a little bit about the weekend.
the
Did I say it
weekend.
right? The
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah. The
Oh,
weekend. The weekend is my new single now, and you were telling me that this will be the first time that you are hearing my music. There's like, I think I have 7 albums before this one. So
oh wow.
this one will give you a taste of what the back catalog is, and to get into it. Because if you like these records, these are records that DJs will call me from other states, and they say, "Man, I always play your records when my family is here. Like when we're having a good time, a barbecue, or we're having a pool party or something, I can always put your record on, and everybody loves it. The kids love it, the teenagers love it, and adults, of course, love it, because it's just it, it's nothing in there where you ever have to run over there and turn something down, because you know how that is. I'm sure everybody does. It's just like, oh, who put that on? Take that off. Change the station.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's none of that. It's just like it's what I grew up on, and then I'm trying to, like, you know, not modernize it to the point where it's unrecognizable, but there's classic records that never come off the radio. You know, you're always going to hear forever. You know, Marvin Gaye. You're always going to hear Temptations. You're always going to hear certain records. You know, Otis Redding or Sam Cooke or whatever. Those records are always going to be relevant. So I try to make records that I think can always be relevant, not with a timestamp where, you know, it was like, hey, that was in the days of the Cabbage Patch or anything like that.
Yeah.
Not, you know, not that sort of sound, but just something that doesn't standardize it, you know, and just make it. So if you listen to anything off some of my other albums, you won't be able to say, okay, this record was made on this certain time, unless you're like maybe like, you know,
So it's pretty evergreen.
yeah, pretty influential producer to maybe. I try not to use you know, because that's what I know. I try not to use sounds that time stamp
Mhm.
the instruments or whatever. Because there's
Okay.
certain instruments you can just recall and say, oh, that's the
Yeah,
Lindrum.
like the zap stuff. The
Yeah,
yeah.
or that's that, certain things like that.
Well, I have The Weekend. Do you mind if we play it?
Yeah, let's listen.
Let's see what we got here.
Okay.
All this fuss about.
I've been working all week long. Gotta punch that clock just to make a simple dollar. 'Cause I'm trying to stay on side. 'Cause every man needs money. You gotta pay those bills. But you gotta have fun sometimes. And girl, you know I will on the weekend. I'm partying with my friends. Weekend. I'm partying with my friends. Girl, the party's just getting started. All my friends are on the floor. There's a lot of pretty women in here, but still I expect more. All the drinks are flowing, and plenty of smoke we're blowing. It's 3:45, and somebody's out the door. And so I'm partying with my friends. Been waiting for you. It's the weekend. I'm partying with my friends. It's a party, baby. Weekend. I'm partying with my friends. Baby, it's a weekend. Weekend, girl. I'm partying with my friends. Turn it up, let's go.
Yeah, what's up, y'all, man? Bink, what's going on, man? We up in the house, y'all. Y'all know how we chillin'. Party people in the place, y'all. Hey. Gotta get on up. Everybody on the floor, y'all. Hey, gotta get on up. Everybody on the floor, y'all. Gotta get on up. Everybody on the floor, y'all. Hey, gotta get on up. Everybody on the floor, y'all. Gotta get on up. Everybody on the floor, y'all. Hey, gotta get on up.
It's the weekend, y'all. I'm partying with my friends. Partying with my friends, baby. Partying with my friends. Turn it up, it's the weekend. I'm partying with my friends. Stop my baby.
All right.
And that's the weekend.
I love it. That's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, it's fun, and it's like they're always going to be a weekend, and
Right.
everyone's always
We
looking
live
forward
for the
to it.
weekends.
Yeah, it's a good time. Yeah, exactly. So when OJ's did that record, Living for the Weekend, it was the same theme that, you got to get through the week to get to the weekend to have a good time. So we're still there in this day, some generation, this generation, everybody's still doing the same thing. So the theme never changes. It's just the way
Right.
you remember it.
Well, let me ask you this. So now that you know that things have changed, times have changed, and you have a young performer who wants to do the things that you do, they want that opportunity to be heard. They want that opportunity to shine. They want that opportunity to show their elders that you know what, I got this, I can do this. What type of words of wisdom would you give that person?
Well, it's a different time. So the thing is, there's a lot of factors which which makes things harder than it was before, because it's not, this industry is not based on talent, because there's talented people everywhere. It's the desire to succeed, but with the desire to succeed, you can be exploited. You, like Dave Chappelle said, his dad told him, if the price gets too high that you're unwilling to pay it, that's when you know that you can't do this. But that doesn't mean do anything or be willing to do anything to get the chance, because as you see, it's evident that a lot of people have been exploited, that things are
Right.
coming out now. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's way worse than people would think. And if you have someone like, I was telling you the time when they would pay $50,000 for a song, like happily, and
Right.
now it's like people willing to give their song for free just to be on. And then when they give so many songs up, and it's like, you're not always guaranteed that success. So say you have 3 successful songs that should make you a millionaire, but you gave those 3 songs away for free because that's the only way they were going to accept you or accept
Right.
the song.
Right. Right.
So you have to ask yourself at that point, I'm not famous, but um, whoever wants to carry my song in, DJ Mustard wants my song. Do you give him your song? Because that's not going to put you on. That's going to put DJ Mustard higher. So it's really hard to say. You have to have some type of intuition to, is this going to work for me? Am I going to be uh, devastated if this is the only chance I have and I give it away for nothing?
Right.
So there's really no sound advice that you know, or someone wants to, look at all these artists that signed on and did, like, things they didn't want to do.
Right. And they ended up having to do it just to thinking that
Yeah,
they was going to
and you
be
don't want to.
be.
You can be that person that's just there doing these things you don't want to do, waiting for your opportunity that you never get. So it's really hard. You have to be prepared not to make any money,
Mhm.
and you have to be prepared to do it yourself or to make enough money your own. It takes certain things, like, in combination to succeed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Luck, being in the right place. Even if
Good
you
people.
yeah,
Good
and say
people
you
that's
get,
willing to help.
yeah,
That's a major factor.
yeah, you have to have someone. I was watching the thing yesterday where a guy was saying, you have to have someone who can bankroll the whole operation. And that's pretty true, because I mean, just like you say, what, maybe one of these speakers costs $1,000, and if I have 5 of them, it's like, and those are just the speakers. That's not the computer. That's not the boards or all the stuff that you need to go with it. Somebody has to be able to do something, get you in the studio. Pictures, it could cost you $500, $600, $700, and you need good ones. And if you take some bad ones, people will tell you right away, these are bad pictures. So come back again. You can get some other ones.
Try it again.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. And at this point, there was a time when you could just tell someone, look, stay at it, work hard, uh, and do these things. But now that's not even enough. There's a lot of people that stay at it, work hard, are dedicated, and are never heard of. So
Yeah.
it takes a combination of a lot of things. Only thing you can tell someone trying to get started right now is it's never going to change if you're extremely talented. You're going to need that. So you're going to want to work harder. Like, you're going to have like a Kobe work ethic. You're going to have to, be up practicing when everyone else is asleep. And that's what I used to do. They wouldn't let me play football. I'm going to play my guitar. I'm just going to be, I'm going to get back at you guys. I'm going to be so good that you guys are going to want to be my friend. So I had days like that, I play guitar all day. I play piano all day. So you have to get to a point where you're good at what you do and you want to be better than everybody else, or extremely good, not just average or pretty
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
So just practice and continue to see that as furthering, because if you have one opportunity, like Eminem said, you got to seize that moment. Some you may have one point where you walk across, a guy and he says, "Okay, let me see what you got, son." And this guy could be the owner of conglomerate of labels, and if you are ready when that time comes and you make this guy say, "Wow," then you've accomplished that moment. That's the moment that will kick you off.
Right, right. So
Takes
I
a
know our
lot of
time is almost up, but I want to ask the last question. What's next for you, Binky?
what's next for me. I'll be doing music as long as I can do music. I mean, I've diversified from working for artists, working for labels, or being a guitar player too. I own my own publishing company. I own my own label. I own all my own equipment. I own my own video. I mean, we've been doing independent movies. I can do anything at this point. So we're just going to continue to do everything and see what happens. But sometimes the challenges are when you're doing all the right things and you're trying to help people. Believe it or not, people don't want you helping people.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm told that all the time. You too nice.
yeah,
You're always helping people, but you know what? If it's in you, it's in you.
yeah, you got to remember when you start helping a lot of people. I mean, you would think there's nothing wrong in that, but if you look at all the people that help people, they let's say they meet their demise in some weird, unseen, foreseen way,
Yeah,
and that goes with anything in politics and music. And you start signing all the start signing all the unsigned talented artists,
hmm,
and yeah, people want to crush you if you start coming up. There, if you look at through history, it's always been, why did Motown stop being Motown?
right.
All of a sudden somebody bought them and suppressed something. Why the face walk away from the face?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
does Def Jam no longer exist? Why does all these black companies no longer exist?
yeah. I mean, you got a point there though, and a lot of times people are they can't be content with being a part of something. They want to be above the something,
Yeah, they want to
and
bust
that's
out.
what makes it hard for us. That's what makes it hard for us.
Well, yeah, you could experience that on every level. I mean, I've helped a lot of artists. I mean, from before they were when they were no one. Some of my first sessions in LA when we were growing up with, it's like with all those guys like Cube and Dre, and just these guys are just local guys trying to come up. And as you can see how some people pull some of the guys this way and pull some of the guys this way, and nobody ever stays unified through the whole thing.
Right, right.
But like I said, I worked with all those. I worked with Death Row. I worked with Grand Jury, and those were the guys that were starting it out and keeping things, making deals happen.
Right, right.
But yeah, you always want to get from under there, do your own, try to make your own label or whatever. But
I think it's best to have your own label, though, isn't it?
it's best because a lot of times, if you're under the leadership of the wrong leadership, that's like going nowhere. If guys are making bad moves. I remember when I used to play, I was telling you I played guitar for Randy Jackson. And we were still in high school. And it was, we would go for rehearsal and they would just say, well, Randy went out last night, didn't come back. So I guess rehearsal's canceled. I haven't heard from him, but we will let you know. And it was like, wow. At that point, I knew we're trying to get to a certain point, but Randy's already there and he can either just do what anything you want. Just cancel a
Right.
tour or whatever. And if you plan with someone and you're counting on this tour and they cancel it because they just don't feel like going or the money didn't get high enough for them, then your whole summer, your whole income for that thing is no longer there on the table. So
Wow.
that's why it's if you get into this, you have to. It's real easy to get where you're needy. So I was pretty. I mean, I went to college and I was going to med school and those sort of things, but I never could get through med school because every time I would start, something in my career would kick off, like some other door would open, and I would, okay, we're going to put
Put this
med
on the back
school on.
burner.
Yeah, so we can do this record and this half a tour or whatever it is, and then okay, that's over. I'm getting ready to go back to med school, and then something else would just jump off. So that led me to believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like it. Wow. So tell people, how can they get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me through Binky Womack. Anything you can Google it, and if my name is attached to it, Vendelara Music is my label through Sony Records, and if Vendelara Music and Womack Music, those are my publishings. If you're a writer, publishing company, and so we have anything, just Binky Womack, anything should come up where you can reach me. I'm not hard to find.
You're not
Yeah.
hard to find. You're Googleable.
Yeah, I'm Googleable. You can find me for the first 60 or 70 pages of just straight meat.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I would like to invite you back.
Yeah,
You
anytime.
got something going on, jumping off, or just want to get on to talk? I'm here.
Oh, one
we're
more
here
thing.
in Virginia Beach.
One more
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
I also have there's a group, the Skunk Mob. You guys should check that out.
Who is
it? It's called the Skunk Mob.
The Skunk Mob. Okay. Tell us a little bit about this group.
This is like, you're familiar with Parliament Funkadelic George Clinton, and I told you George's son and I, we've been friends since junior high school. We used to have guitar battles in 6th, 7th grade. So we're together in this group, and it's like if you like funk, we were voted the best funk record in the last 10 years. So we're very high up in that genre. But the thing is with that, like we were talking about, things get eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
They eliminated funk as a genre, like it doesn't exist anymore. So it's not pop.
Really?
Yeah, it's not pop, it's not R&B. It's like an underground type of thing that certain stations will not play it because it doesn't fall in R&B or whatever it is. So we're doing that. It's live musicians, it's live band, and it's just like funk. And like we used to have so many of those bands like Slave, Cameo, the Gap Band. That was us. They eliminated all of that. There's none of that now, except in the underground. It's like the Underground Railroad. Like we're the Harriet Tubman of that movement. So.
But that means you can do it then.
Yeah, and it's out there, and I'm sure people will like it. It's like, but that happens. Rock has never been eliminated. Heavy metal has never been canceled. Latino music. I used to own a studio, and it was all Latino. We made Latino records. The music is still the same. It hasn't changed. It hasn't been eliminated. It's even gotten bigger, because there was no Latino Grammys. They made their own Latino Grammys. Those sort of things. And there's things like, that's not equal to what we have as like BET and those sort of things. I mean, like we said, they came and then they were gone, or they were repurposed.
So it's crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
it's great.
again, thank you so much for being on the show. And guys,
Welcome.
this show was brought to you today by our sponsor, Never Stop Entertainment, with Mr. Joe. Got to give him his little shout out.
Joe the Enforcer. I love you,
Joe.
bro.
Never stop, never stop.
Mhm.
And so, well, anyway, stay in contact, and hey, we're gonna make it happen, and we'll get the song out. You'll be able to get this video out, and yeah, see if some stuff go up for you.
Oh yeah. Thank you. And you know, like I said, check those other records and videos. And there's a lot of material out that's out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you'll see some new memberships with me jumping on
Okay.
board. I love the song, and so I think I've already befriended you on one of the social medias, and so we'll keep it going. We won't stop. We'll
Okay.
keep going. Never stop
Yeah.
entertaining. Got our back. So
If you friend me on Facebook, I don't know. There's like 5 or 6 profiles. At one time, they were limited in how many friends or how many followers I could have. And once it got to 5,000, they would just start another Binky Womack page. So there's like 6 of them. They would want me.
Well, what I'll do, I'll find you on Instagram. Do
Okay.
you have an original page on Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll follow you on Instagram, and you can find me from there, or you can Google me.
Okay.
SKST Radio, Cammy Grayson.
Hello. Yeah, we're
I'm
done.
Googleable too.
Okay. I'm gonna Google you and I'll tap in with you on the other profiles.
Sounds good. All right. Okay, guys, until next week, right here, SKST Radio, and we're going to end it with Never Stop Entertainment. Okay, thank you. Binky, tell everyone goodbye.
Thank you. Bye everyone. Check me out. Appreciate you.
No, right?
Get worldwide airplay, boost online streaming and sales. Get noticed by major labels like BMG, Sony Music, and Empire. Your videos aired on TV in millions of homes. See what Never Stop Entertainment can do for you. Visit us now at neverstopent.com.